So today I want to talk about how to stop guessing with meta ads. And the reason why I want to talk about this topic is because whenever I sit down and I talk with clients or I just talk with people that are struggling with meta ads, they always say the same thing, which is that they feel like they're just guessing and they don't really know what's going on. So in this video, I want to go ahead and show you guys what I believe are the most common mistakes that I've seen people make with meta ads, and that is causing them to lose a bunch of money and fail. And I'm also gonna go ahead and show you how you can address those issues, and I'm also going to go ahead and show you my creative process on how I'm able to get my clients results and scale their ad accounts, right? So the first mistake that I see most people do nowadays is the fact that they rely on AI to do all of the job for them, right? And using AI is not a problem, it's the way that you use it the problem. Because the way that I see AI is that AI is more of an assistant instead of someone that is going to do the whole job for you. AI is just there to 10x your input, to 10x your outputs, right? And the problem with that is that the outputs that you get from the AI are only a reflection of your skill level, meaning that if you're bad at what you do, the results that you're gonna get with the AI are also gonna be bad. So you can't rely at 100% on ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude just because they're made to kind of agree with you, right? So if you're not good at what you do, you won't really notice, you won't really know if what the AI is giving you is good or not. So you can't really rely on the AI at 100%, and that's a big mistake that I've seen a lot of people do recently. And I get it, it's fast, and it really allows you to get the job done, right? But it's not a good move to only rely on it. The second mistake is that nowadays, because there is a bunch of tools that allow you to spy on your competitors, what people do is that they just go ahead and they copy them, they steal them, right? They don't really put thought into understanding why things work and why things don't work. And taking inspiration is fine. If you do content or if you've been watching content, you know that you have to take inspiration from what's working and double down on it. But inspiration is a keyword because you can't just copy things, because when you just copy things you don't really understand why they're working and why they're not working. That's why you're gonna see brands that they copy ads from their competitors, but when they fail they don't really know why they're failing, and they keep repeating the same process and they're not able to scale. Taking inspiration is fine from your competitors, but you have to sit down and try to analyze why certain things are working and why they're not working. So take inspiration, but don't just copy, because you won't learn, you won't scale that way. And the third thing is gonna be that whenever you see a well-established brand and you see a beginner brand, you're gonna see that the way that they approach their ads are different. The beginner brand is gonna focus the whole ad on the features of their product. And the big brand, what they're going to do is that they're gonna try to tell you a story within their ads. And that's a big difference, because when you just talk about the features of your product, most likely your ad is going to flop because people don't really care about the features of your product, or you just didn't give them a reason to care. Big brands, what they do is that they don't focus their ads on the features of their product. The features come after, but what they try to do is that they try to tell a story within their ads. The reason why they do this is because they understand that people only engage with stories. So if you can tell a good story that your audience can relate to, they're more likely to watch your ad. And if your story is good, you're also going to be able to convey an emotion. You're also going to be able to make them feel something. And once you're able to make the viewer feel something, that's when you're more likely to make them convert, right? Because people buy with emotions, they don't buy with logic. And when you just focus your ads on features, that's the part of the brain that you activate, which is the logic. You activate the logic part of the brain, and you don't want that because people don't buy in that state, right? So tell stories and don't just focus on the features. So the way that I go about fixing all of those issues is by doing some deep market research. And everyone knows that you have to do some market research, but people usually do it the wrong way. So nowadays, what people do is that they just ask ChatGPT to do the research for them, and that's not the right way of doing it, because the whole point of the research is to deeply the one who's going to be making the ads, is to deeply understand your audience. Because once you know your audience on a deeper level, that's when you're going to be able to come up with better stories, you're going to be able to come up with better hooks and with better ads overall. So the way that I like to go about my market research is by first starting on Amazon. I like to pick 1 to 3 competitors. Sometimes I even do 5, and I go ahead and I take a look at the 5-star reviews and the 1-star reviews. So when I'm taking a look at the 5-star reviews, what I'm looking for is actually just I'm not just looking for random reviews. I'm actually looking for the trigger moment that made my audience buy the product, right? So at what point my audience wanted to fix their issue or address their desire, right? That's super important. And the one-star review is just gonna help me figure out what is the problem that they were not able to address with the specific product of our competitors. So that's good because that's gonna give me an advantage first, but that's also gonna give me more feedback on what they were trying to fix. If you did this correctly, if you analyze the reviews correctly, at this point you should have a good idea on what are the main desires or problems that your audience is trying to address by buying a product similar to yours. And you should also have a list of the trigger moments, the most common trigger moments that made them want to address their desire or their problem. The other day I was doing some market research for a sleep supplement, and there's one review in particular that caught my attention, this one right here. And it was really interesting because the guy wasn't talking about the fact that he bought the supplement because he had insomnia. He told us about this trigger moment. So the moment that he wanted to, he definitely wanted to fix that issue that he had, which was insomnia. So he shared with us a story that was really interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and read the review. He said that he snapped at his kids in the morning because he was so exhausted. I think that this is so powerful because from here not only we can use this as a hook, but we can actually build a whole ad around this story right here. Of course, the problem that we're trying to fix is it's insomnia, but the whole ad is going to be focused about the specific scene right here that made him want to address this problem, the insomnia problem. So we can build an ad around this, and the ad will actually, I think, will perform really well because I think this is a really powerful desire and a really powerful story too. So once I'm done on Amazon, one thing that I like to do is also go ahead and do a deep dive on Reddit too. So Amazon is good to have to figure out what are the mass desires of your audience, but if you really want to have raw and deep insights on the day-to-day life of your audience and what they are actually going through on a day-to-day, to just have as much data as possible for your ads, just go ahead on Reddit, because Reddit is actually a goldmine, because on Reddit people just share everything. People open up on Reddit and people share really raw and unfiltered stories that you can really take inspiration from, and you can learn a lot from those Reddit threads, right? So if you really want to do some deep market research, Reddit's a gold mine. And the way that I use Reddit is that every research session that I have, I will go ahead and I will copy paste a bunch of threads that I will find on Reddit, and I will paste them on a Google Doc, right? And if you do this consistently, right, what you can also do at one point is that you can just take the Google Doc and put it into Gemini, ChatGPT, or whatever tool you use, and then you can use ChatGPT or Gemini to help you come up with better ideas, with better hooks, just because you're feeding enough information, enough context for him to really understand your audience as well, right? And that's an amazing way of just doing market research too, right? It's a gold mine. And my last step on my research is usually taking a look at the format that is working within my niche, because I feel like most people don't talk about this, but you can have an amazing hook, an amazing script, but if you mess up the way that you show the message, it's not gonna work. I've learned this the hard way. The way that you edit your ads, the way that you present your ads is gonna be different depending on the audience that you're targeting, right? So let's say you're targeting older people, you're not gonna edit the ad in the same way that you were going to edit it if you're targeting younger people like Gen Z, right? It's different. So you have to go ahead and take a look at the style of content that your audience is already watching and try to adapt your ad to that, right? Otherwise, your ads are not gonna look organic or familiar to them, and they're just gonna skip it. So it's super important for you to have an idea on the content that your audience is already watching. The way that I do it is just by taking a look at IG, at TikTok, and even some ads that are performing in your niche. Just go ahead and have an idea on the kind of content that your audience is already consuming, and also tell your editor. If you have an editor, tell him to adapt his editing style to the audience that you're targeting. That's very important, right? And I remember making ads for this parenting brand. At first, we were doing high production edits, etc., flashy edits and everything, but they were always flopping. It's only when we switched to ads that were just B-roll with some text on the screen that we started seeing amazing results, right? So the format is super important. So at this point, if you follow all of these steps, at this point you should have a system, right? So you have Amazon that is gonna give you an idea on what desires or problems you should target. Then Reddit is gonna give you a bunch of inspiration on stories or angles, and then you're gonna analyze your formats by just going on social media. By doing this research consistently, you're not only just gonna have a good understanding on what's working with your niche, you're also gonna have a good understanding on why certain things work for you and why certain things don't work, right? And if you understand why something is not working, from there you just have to optimize it and keep testing new things and keep just making better ads. And this is really what I call a genuine test, because at that point you're not really gambling anymore. At that point, every single week you take a look at your ad account, you take a look at the data, and you start making hypotheses based on that. And from there, you just keep optimizing week after week. And this is the only way that you can be really successful with ads, by understanding why something is flopping and why something is winning, and just keep doubling down on what's working and learning from what's not working, right? So that's how you scale your ads, and that's how you make better ads. And that's how you also play the long-term game. So that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys have any questions, also leave them in the comments. And if you are an e-com brand or a brand that needs help with their content or their ads, just I'm gonna link my email below. Just reach out to me, send me an email, and we can talk from there. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care.